Thank you, everyone. Great lineup of films. I want to get into talking about them with each of the filmmakers. Um, we're going to go around like we normally do, where we'll talk to each filmmaker. For people who are watching this, if you want to ask the filmmakers any questions, there's a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and you can click in there and send in a question to any of the filmmakers, and we can forward those along to them, or they can actually respond directly if they choose to. What I normally like to do is just kind of go around and talk to each filmmaker about something that stands out about their film. It could be a production story, something that was challenging about it, something that you found particularly rewarding, anything that you think the audience would be interested to hear about related to your film. And we'll go in reverse order. Fateh, let's start with you. This is a really dramatic film for a number of reasons. People in our community are just finding out, at least I was, and a couple others just finding out about one of our colleagues, William, who was passed away last month, William Marsh. It came to a shock to a lot of us. I think I can speak for you as well. We've talked about it a few times. I guess I just say at this point, I've been in touch with William's family. They're going to hold a memorial service for him on April 17th. Yeah, April 17th. It's a Saturday. We're going to post the information as they have it on our Facebook group. If anyone's not on that, they can just reach out to me directly, and I can forward that to them if they're not, if they don't, have other connections to that. We're going to put a memorial service for William. He was really active in our community. I know a lot of you knew him. We're friends with him. He was a great person, really bright, funny, and very active. He was in a lot of films, including yours, Fateh. Sadly, ironically, he's the voice at the end who calls you when you're depressed. It's hard to watch your film in light of this context. I guess I'll also just say now, if you are wanting to reach out and talk to anyone about this, we do have someone from our psychological services standing by, Bert Epstein. You can reach out to him through the Q&A. It's a private chat. It will go directly to him, and you can get some further connection that way. But Fateh, I just want to throw it to you. What would you like to say about your film and about Will's role in it? It's pretty incredible.
No, definitely. I first want to say thank you for letting me change the ending, because when I first submitted my film, that was at the time when I was talking to Will. Will was, he seemed fine. We were both like shooting each other like random Marvel fandom rumors and theories and all that kind of stuff. And then when I found out that our film got into the festival, I texted him probably like 10,000 times. And then one night, after doing my show, my friend gave me the news, and I was shocked, because at the time it was just like, because it was so much was going on, and like the thought of like, oh, our film has gone into a film festival, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and just knowing that he's not gonna be there, he's not here to see this, it's really devastating to me, because this film, although it was for like an assignment, it did definitely have like it has an emotional value to me. It means something to me, because ever since, from elementary school all the way to like high school, I've been an introvert. I used to not go out and hang out with friends. I used to be indoors playing video games, watching movies, TV, all that kind of stuff. And then when I got to college, that's when I started to connect with people. In fact, I did my senior project interview with you, Brian, and you said like, oh, JC is all about connecting with people, and that's what I did. And that's what I experienced when we went back to quarantine. It felt like being the introvert kid that I was before, and like that's the importance, is like going out there and just connecting with people, whether you're physically near them or not. Like, you know, it's important to reach out and connect with others. If they're not responding, you should go out there. You should like check on them. You should be like, hey, is everything going on? Do you want to talk about it? Like, and you know, obviously, if they want space, then you give them their space. But I mean, yeah, after I heard the news, I was like, this isn't like, oh, this is a film submission now. No, I took this film as a dedication to Will and a message to everyone that if you have a friend who is just having a really rough time, just check on them, like get in touch with them, like see what's going on, and like just listen to them. That's also another thing, is like if you aren't able to you know, help them out in any way, shape, or form, do just listen to them, because it helps. When you just letting it all out really helps. And so in the end, that's what I dedicate this film to. It's dedicated to William, and it's dedicated to all the people out there who are currently just having a rough time in quarantine, I guess. Yeah.
Uh, exactly. I mean, your film is about it overtly, the sort of isolation that we're all feeling, and it hits different people in different ways. Your film is produced very much like a quarantine film as well, which kind of leads to it, because it's just you in a room, and it's very claustrophobic. You know, William was no stranger to this festival. He was in last year's festival in Morgan's film, Burial. And he took part in at least 8 films in our program, maybe more that I didn't know about. So yeah, it's a tragedy. We'll like I said, we'll participate in the memorial that his family is putting together by representing Williams films there, and Fateh, this film will be one of them. I shared these films with his mother a few days ago, and she was really appreciative of it. So thank you for bringing that forward, Fateh. Your acting in it is really great too. I think I told you when I first watched it, I really like at the change that you have when William calls you. There is a change in your performance, and for an actor, that's really, you know, all important, that you can change a performance when things happen. And in that moment, I also love the way that you shot it, with the natural light hitting the side of your face, and just William's voice is so. I mean, William had an incredible voice, like golden tonsils. We were always joking with him that he wanted to, you know, everyone wanted him to have a voice in their film because his voice was so rich. So I'm really happy you're able to pull that all off. So like I said, we're just going to go around the room talking with each filmmaker kind of in reverse order. There's a lot of COVID films in this program, as you know now, watching it. Max Beloved, your film Summertime. Is Max here? I didn't see him in the
Right here.
group.
Hi.
Oh, hey Max. I'm
Hello.
trying to find you in. Oh, there you go. Okay. Hey, good to see you. So your film is a quarantine film, also about being stuck inside. I know. Well, I know some things about the film, but I don't want to take words out of your mouth. Can you tell us a little bit about your film, your production, how you approached it?
Sure. Well, it was made last year, pretty much right as the beginning of this all happened. It was the very beginning of the first lockdown, and nobody really knew, you know, where this was going, how it was going to go. So it was definitely a challenge. And I'm sure you remember, we were in the middle of different productions, and we had to completely reverse course and change everything. And figure that all out. And so my goal in making it was to make something that addressed the spirit of the moment, the feeling of the moment, but tried to see the good in it, I guess. Tried to give a message of hope in a moment where everything was feeling rather hopeless.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Miles Davis score, of course. You spent a lot of time in the making it have a very particular look. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you shot it? Because it's really visually very strong.
Sure. One of the things that was hard about this was actually the edit, because I had so much footage that I absolutely loved that I had to not use. I purposefully gave myself that specific song, even though it's fairly short, as a challenge to just make sure that I wasn't wasting any space, wasn't lingering too long. But I shot all over the place within 5 minutes of my house, because that's basically all I could do at that point. Because
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all right around my house within 5 to 10 minutes. I shot all over. That's, if you didn't get it, that the kid is my little brother Teddy, who was just absolutely a rock star. So cooperative and helpful. It was great. But yeah,
A lot of family members in our COVID films in the last
Yeah.
year and a half, probably much to their chagrin. You have a lot of moving camera shots too. I think you'd had some sort of stabilizing, right? What were you? I feel like you just bought something and you were trying to play with it or something.
no,
Is that-
actually, for the interiors at the very beginning and the very end, I was using just 5D on a tripod.
Mhm.
But for everything else, just because of the technological restrictions and everything, I was just using my iPhone. There's got to be some
Wow.
handheld. There's got to be some stabilizing magic
Mhm.
in there. But yeah,
I
that was
used your
all just
iPhone for a lot of that. Wow,
handheld movement.
that's incredible. Well, our phones look great. I mean, it really. It's not about the camera you use; it's about how you use it. That's for sure. Okay, Max, thanks for that. Yet another COVID film in some ways, or at least a story about loss, is Tony Wilson's film Left Behind. Hi, Tony.
Hi.
You want to tell us a little bit about this?
I mean, like I got the idea in like May of 2020, and I didn't end up like shooting it until like November. And yeah, I mean it like during the production, some things kind of changed, but like the central idea of like dealing with loss and like how we deal with that loss and like what does it mean to be like quote unquote left behind, and also still trying to kind of have that like optimism in the end where like even if you lose someone, even if you lose something, like it's never really gone. You still have that memory, you still have that love, you still have that person, you still have that thing forever in yourself. And that's just kind of what I wanted to show in my short film.
Mhm. And is this coming from a personal story in your own life, or is it you're just trying to, or did you just come up with it originally?
I mean, it's like loosely based off of like some things in my life. I mean, part of like where I got like the music idea was like them being in a band, was because my two friends are in a band. And like the idea I originally had, like the ending was different. Like the ending was the character goes back in and that he plays music and then he remembers his friend, but I changed it. But I had the idea of like he lives on through the music. And I was thinking of that with like other musicians that have passed away that I personally enjoy, that like still sort of live on through their music, and as part of that, part of other past experiences, just kind of like an amalgamation of things.
Yeah, it's a good device. because as you said, and also just the idea of playing with someone who's passed on, like their spirit, like literally playing with them. It's interesting. You got some good performances. I really like the scene at the end on the staircase. Do you want to say a little bit about how you directed them, or how were these two men actors before, or did you just kind of wrangle them in and talk them into it? They seem really natural. It's not an easy scene to kind of deliver as an actor because it can come off really melodramatic and sort of over the top if you're not careful with it.
Yeah. Those two people, one of them, Rob, the character of Rob, he is an actor. He did a lot of like stage productions and went to school for a while for acting. So I knew he was going to be really solid. And my other friend who played Corey isn't he doesn't like act necessarily, but I knew that he had like some ability. In the way that I kind of directed him is like I wanted like throughout the whole thing, I wanted him to be very like tranquil and like peaceful because he has moved on. He doesn't like, he's not angry. He doesn't have emotion. He's kind of just like there. And that's kind of how I wanted him to play that. So like he wouldn't come off as melodramatic. He wouldn't come off as too aggressive or too emotional. Like I just wanted him to be kind of like chilled out and laid back and just kind of like that. And me and my friend kind of played off each other a little bit and kind of just let him do his own thing with Rob's character and how I wanted him to emote that. And I just kind of told him like, just be emotional and just go from there. Like just take the reign from there. And I thought he did a really good job with that.
Yeah, he does. He plays it really sincere and angry. It's good. Yeah, nice job on that. Down the Drain by Quinn Cannarudi. Hi, Quinn.
Hi.
You want to tell us a little bit about your film? There's a nice upbeat sensibility to it. The story does take a little bit of a turn. The audience isn't sure where it's going.
Yeah, I know other people in light of what's going on reflected what was happening, but I honestly just kind of wanted to escape from it a little bit. I wanted something kind of happy to focus on while everything else was just like spinning out of control. And so
Yeah, it has a little bit of like a sitcom-y kind of vibe to it. It's very light.
Yeah, like
from
something
the
that's
beginning.
easy to watch, you know. The whole thing takes place in my house. I just used what I had, including my neighbors and my friend that goes to school at Berkeley. Neither of them are actors. They were just both really patient with me and super nice to let me use them in my film.
Yeah.
I guess a fun fact is that the wedding ring that gets dropped down the drain is my great-grandmother's, but it's okay. I took it out of the garbage disposal and it's okay. It's back in its box and everything. Yeah. I mean,
That's a neat shot when you got that. You want to talk, you have a lot of you put the camera in some fun places.
yeah.
I think that lends itself to some of the energy in the film, is that you've got the camera's very playful and mixes in with the music nicely. And you want to talk about some of those shots?
Yeah, so the ones facing over the drain, I literally just got on a chair because Alex, the actor, is like 6 feet tall and I am not that tall. And I just stood over him. I just held the camera. It's no like fancy equipment. It's just me like not breathing, trying to keep it from shaking. I think the more notable shot in that is my um, my vertigo shot, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure if you could call it a true vertigo shot, but that one's more fun because I sat on this rolling chair that I'm in now with the tripod in between my legs, and then had Tony, the girl that was the actress in it, just literally shove me across the kitchen with all her strength. That I did bump into the oven, the fridge a couple of times in the process of that, but I'm pretty pleased, all things considered, with what I had, which wasn't a lot. But yeah, I'm really happy with how that one in particular turned out.
Yeah, me too. Can you talk about the ending a little bit, because you did some rework on the ending?
Yeah, so my original ending was basically I kind of copped out the first time. Like I didn't really know how to end it. So I just kind of put a really, really old meme at the end where, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's the one where the guy's standing there and then he does a peace sign and then the pictures slowly fade, like, and he fades away a little bit. And so I basically just had the main character just throw up a peace sign and then I like lowered the opacity and then made him go all the way away. But I figured I didn't know who was going to be watching, so I didn't know if they were going to be educated in memes. So I changed it to something a little bit more realistic and understandable. A more friendly ending for all audiences.
Yeah. But only one actor was available, right? So you could only shoot in one direction.
No, I actually got really lucky and Tony had to come home and dog sit. So
Oh,
I actually got to reshoot with both of them. Yeah.
Cool. Well, nice work on that.
Thanks.
Jumping over to The Whole Picture by Xander Coral and Grayson Champy.
Howdy, what's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Got it. It's saw my movie. It's kind of neat. I haven't seen it in a while, so that's fun.
Yeah. No, it's got a lot of action in the film, especially when the way it opens. You all want to talk about how you pulled off? How many takes did you make that actor run sprinting down the street in the middle of the road?
A lot. So it's only a lot because we filmed it like a couple of times handheld and it was just really, really jumpy. And so what I did was I got a skateboard and I just kind of like Gray pushed me while I recorded Maverick the actor. And it took us a really long time to get the speed right.
You were on a skateboard on that shot.
I was,
Wow.
which is cool. It's cool in its own right, It's kind of doing like that. It was fun. But yeah, it took us a while. But it did take us a while, but it was fun. So like probably like hour, maybe 30 minutes spent on that, like about.
Do you mind if I ask you, what did you use for the blood?
For blood? I had this so a while ago I did a Halloween costume for Shaun of the Dead, where I was Shaun. And so I had this big jug of fake blood still. And so we just it was like from like Spirit Halloween or something. I don't know. It's like really, really cheap fake blood. So I was like, oh, I got a bunch of this. Let's just cover my friend with that.
Use it up.
Go with that. Yeah, we did it in my front yard. A couple people must have been a little weirded out at first, but it's what are you gonna do?
I would think so. Yeah. Did the story feels like it might have been longer? Did you have a longer story that you ended up cutting down, or tell us a little bit about the story?
We did. We had there's another scene that was filmed that was kind of like an exposition sort of. It's not like an exposition, but it's more like an explanation of like what's going on, like how they got to that point. But we just felt like it was like way more exciting if we just kind of left that out. Like you could pretty much figure it out, but yes, there is a little bit more, but I think it's a lot better without it, if that makes sense. And we all agreed when we were doing it. So technically, yes, there is more, but I think it's better without it.
Yeah. Less is more if you can still make the story work. Are both of you from ArtQuest?
Yeah.
Cool. You guys want to do a little shout out to your program?
Yeah, we're ArtQuest Video. Go to Santa Rosa High School. It's a program. You do video stuff. You get equipment. You get editing. It's taught. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool program. You get to do stuff like that.
Stefan Perez is your teacher?
Perez is our teacher.
All right.
That's a question in that Q&A down there. For,
graduate of our program. Nice to see. Staying in the family. I hope he's watching.
I think he is because he asked a question in the Q&A. So
oh, good. Okay. I haven't been keeping my eye on that.
I will answer it, which is for The Whole Picture. Do you have any other films you're working on? And we're working on a couple. Couple's a broad statement, but yeah, we are. Always doing stuff like that.
Great. Well, great to see you.
Hey, nice to see you too. Thank
you. Kayla's back with Pay Attention now on the other side of the line. How are you, Kayla?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back. It's weird to be on the other side.
Yes. You want to give us a little fill in on where you're at and where did this film come from? It's our only environmental film in the lineup, which kind of surprised me. I'm surprised there's not more of those, but
Yeah, so I'm actually at San Francisco State. I moved on, and this is actually a submission for one of our projects. And last semester, I stayed in Denmark studying there, and I was also studying at SF State. And so I did this with my team at SF State. So we worked together in different countries, which is very interesting.
international film here in the
Yeah.
Sonoma County Student Film Festival. Love it. And
Yeah.
it's based on a poem. Was this your concept or your
The poem
co-director?
was the prompt. And so from there, I just went with it. Not a super religious person. The poem's called Praying. So I just took it in a sense of like, we can pray that the world will change, but in some point, we actually have to do something about it. So that's kind of the concept I went with.
Talk to us about the production, because man, there's like some incredible images in your piece.
Yeah, so very few of them we actually sourced, and the whole team kind of just went out with a prompt to go get the shots. So it gave me excuse to travel a little bit, like catching a sunset or taking a drone out, which there's actually really strict drone laws in Denmark. So that was a little bit illegal. We didn't get clearance.
We'll edit this out.
Yeah, no, it's fine. They can actually like catch you while you're doing it because they know when your drone's flying, which is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So we worked on this like asynchronously, like we didn't get together a lot for it. So we all kind of just did our task, and we were actually kind of blown away at the end because we didn't see what each other was doing. And we were surprised ourselves.
Yeah. That's a fun exercise. Are you going to try to does this have any sort of activism component to it? Are you putting it in any sort of environmental kind of festivals? Is that something that's on your radar or?
Yeah, so we're actually just gonna, the next one we're gonna submit it to is Becca Fest, which is the broadcast program at SF State. And I was looking for specifically environmental ones to submit it to, but I haven't found any within our price range, which is free.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's not so many of those out there. Well, great work on that. I love the message of it for sure. Isaiah Rich coming in with The Ritual. This is familiar territory for you. It reminds me of your feature script that you were working on a little bit with a little some lighter tones to it. You want to talk a little bit more about your story and where this how this came about?
Yeah, like you referenced in the screenwriting class, I was working on a project about these two brothers that, have this ritual go awry. And that's really where the idea started and where it came from. But we wanted to figure out how we could tell that story while also following social distancing and stuff. So it kind of limited the characters and all that. And what we ended up with was, Zoom calls and and the idea of joining the wrong one,
Yeah, that's a very creative way to go about it. How did you got such a powerful performance from James Brady in this? He's got he's so dedicated to the role. It's so fun to watch him go all in. How did that happen?
Yeah, we had our friend group together and we just decided to just go for it. All of them really came out of their shells, and James just gave it his all. I remember a certain level of frustration about getting the script right, like getting the lines right. And I think that anger actually came out in the performance. So that helped. That was great.
The voice manipulation is really scary the way that you did it. It's because it's a comedy, but it's the way that you did the voice is very effective in terms of it being sounding like a scary demon.
Yeah, thank you. I was really trying to go for something that actually made him sound intimidating. Because at
Yeah.
first we were planning on giving him, tracking his eyes in After Effects and giving him these red demon eyes. But then I realized that was way too much work. So,
Yeah. Did you start going down that rabbit hole and then you kind of pulled out?
yeah, we shot about half the film actually with that in mind. And
Oh.
then I got into After Effects and it was just way too much. So I was like, we need something else. Let's really try to nail it down. And that's actually how we came to in the last half of the film. There's the switching back and forward.
Yep.
So that the demon is always talking to the right side of the screen and then the human's always talking to the left. And
Yeah.
that was, a complete rewrite so that we could have the audio be the star instead of the, the eyes or anything.
I see. Yeah, well, you did a great job. James is really funny in it. The humor comes through in good ways. It's like the whole situational comedy setup is good.
Thank you.
Boogie Bar, Krista Andrews. Hello, Krista. There you are.
There I am. Sorry about that.
It's okay. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm doing well. Did you imagine that you were going to be doing an animation piece a year ago?
I had no idea. Yeah. I've always wanted to do one. So I was really thrilled to do it, but no, I didn't think I'd be doing it when I did.
Yeah, so like a lot of the filmmakers up here now had to pivot when COVID happened, and Krista was part of a team. They were just about to start shooting, and then that didn't happen, and so you decided to pivot and do an animation. Can you tell us about that? How all of that worked?
Yeah, so like I said, I've always wanted to do a stop motion, so I was fine with that. Also, given the circumstances, it seemed like an ideal project to get into because I didn't have to cast anybody. I didn't have to come in contact with anybody. My friend who did all my sound actually is in Huntington Beach. So he just Google Drived all that to me. So it was perfect, really. I had to light proof my bedroom because it needs to be in perfect darkness when you're making a stop motion. So it got pretty hot in there. But other than that, it was a lot of fun to make. It's very tedious, very time consuming. Yeah.
Any idea how many hours to make the film? You have any sense of that? I remember you telling me like, oh my God, this is taking me so long.
I couldn't tell you in hours. I know sometimes it was 8-hour days if I had the time. I just know I think we had 6 weeks to complete our films that semester. So that's about how much time it took from the time I started designing the characters and making the set to finishing editing. Yeah.
The look of the location is really strong. Like I really like the way that you lit it. It comes out really well, and you do different angles on the location. You're inside the bar, you're outside the bar. So that part of it is just really impressive for a first time animation.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a big project in itself, just making the set. It started with a cardboard box.
Yep.
And I printed out a pattern and I painted it and pasted everything together. I used a little set of string lights for the lights, which worked out really well. I didn't know how that was going to look when I put those up, but it worked out fine. Yeah, I was going to use one little box for the establishing shots and then make another one for all the interiors. But by the time I was done with making that box, it just took so much time. So I decided to just use the same box for everything.
Yeah.
Which wasn't easy.
Yeah.
It was very small.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, great job on it. It came out really well. I hope that you're happy with it as well.
Yeah, for the most part. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hi, Sylvia. Sylvia +1. Hi.
Oh, hi. No? Okay.
Okay. How are
He's on a
you?
Zoom call too. Excuse me.
Yeah, no. You want to talk about The Cure a little bit? I was surprised that you had submitted this film because I didn't think that you were submitting a film. Did you do this film really quickly?
Yeah. Once you told me in class that the festival was on, I was okay. Idea, script. I have to do this, and I started because I really wanted to participate. Sorry, and I think this will be my last year at the SRJC, so I just had to do it, and I worked a lot to do it.
That's so impressive. When we were screening the film, the committee were talking about, we all talk about the films and we rate them and things. And your film has so many little creative angles to it, so many aspects to it. There's an animation in it. There's a drone shot. There's a shot where the camera goes underwater. There's a lot of like practical effects. There's so much in it. I'm so impressed that you're able to do it so quickly. It's really great. Do you want to talk about where the story came from?
So it's a mixture of personal experience and and some drawings that I've tried to do. Oh, okay. Now we
Yeah, get some music. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a mixture of like personal experiences, ideas, and moving too much my hands. And some drawings that I was trying to do. Some came out and others didn't. So that's why it's a lot visual. Plus, I didn't have to talk, which is good. And it's a weird thing to say that's a personal experience, but sorry, I'm trying to concentrate, but it's not working. Okay, it's a weird thing, but I didn't have this kind of experience in which I had tranquila. Okay, what? Yeah. Okay. In which I was over medicated and I lost myself and I behaved in ways that I didn't realize weren't myself until I had a kind of realization. That's kind of the tub scene, and that's how I decided to show it, which is a weird way to do it, but
but it's such a creative
word.
Yeah. He wants your attention. We'll let you get back to parenting.
I'm sorry.
But what a great creative work. I was really impressed with it. I hope that you're happy with it too. Yeah.
Thank you.
No stranger to the festival, Morgan Hamilton Lee. Art is everywhere. Hey, Morgan.
Oh.
How are things going?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. You have a COVID film also, but it's from a very different angle from everyone else's.
Yeah,
talk a little bit about how this came about.
Yeah, I'd already this is like my sixth-ish thing that I've done in quarantine. That just because I've done a lot of stuff with my family and everything, and I wanted to.
They're getting tired of you haranguing them into making films.
Exactly. Yeah, they're pretty done with it. But I wanted to. And the first couple that I'd done were also COVID related, and I was like, I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to tell a story entirely through photographs. And I wanted to collaborate with a friend of mine, Fiona. And I just thought that I looked through her vast collection of photography, which took me a long time, and I sort of honed in on the art story. And I wanted to just talk about how artists are having a hard time right now, and I wanted to shed light on that. So
yeah, it's a great angle. I just want to interrupt our conversation real quick. There's a couple questions in the chat. one to Krista. How many? Well, maybe we can come back around, but I'll just encourage the filmmakers to look into the Q&A, and if they feel like answering directly in the chat, they can, or in the Q&A, they can, or I can verbalize them once we're done going all the way around. So did you know this photographer before you started this? Like, how did you get in touch with this person?
Through the JC. Yeah, I took a photography class 2 years ago now, I think, and I met her through a friend, and I liked her work a lot, and so we've collaborated on a couple things, and I just wanted to, and I love her work. I just think her work is just
So all the photos from your film are from just her.
Yeah.
Wow, that is really impressive.
I had to go through something like a couple hundred pictures to decide which ones to use, because there was so much that I wanted to use. But yeah, all of them are hers. So it was.
Wow, that's impressive. I wasn't aware of that. Has your film had any? Has it gotten out there? It's kind of like, so almost like a PSA for artists in a cool way. I'm just curious if it's been able to help people or raise awareness, or is this the first time that you're getting it out into a festival?
Yeah, I wasn't really planning on doing the festival thing. When I first released it, a couple of friends asked if they could share with people, because they said this is totally relatable and this, more people can see this. But yeah, no, it was just all, it's totally accurate. And I just wanted to, I think more people are struggling with this than some people realize. And so I wanted to, I wanted more people to know that artists are having a hard time. But yeah, I don't know about the global impact or whatever. So
yeah, but I mean, when you just look at musicians and comedians, and it just goes the whole range, any kind of performer, they've just had their livelihood really taken from them. Okay, nice, good angle on that, Morgan. Jumping over to Maniac, Andrew and Caden teaming back up for another film.
Hello. Yep.
How are you guys doing?
Good. Good. How are you?
How many films have you two made together?
Oh, over 10, 12. Couple.
Wow.
Well, we made some like 3 years ago when we first started, and then we kind of picked it back up again after the Media 20 class.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been getting back into it. Going.
Yeah.
We've done a couple of recently.
Cool. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your film, or about the production of it, or whatever direction you want to take it?
Yeah. So we usually do comedies, and we kind of stick with that. So we wanted to like challenge ourselves and try something new. So we went to say like psychotic, psycho, murderer, complete opposite. And we were pretty proud of like how the cinematography went. We're pretty proud of how that turned out. And then Caden's acting.
Oh yeah, for my acting, I basically watched hours of serial killers, like their interviews with like police, and like how they acted, how they talked, to get into character for that.
Yeah, I didn't recognize you when I first watched it, and then I saw the credits, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, there's some makeup on my face, like the dark circles under my eyes and the band-aids and stuff.
Yeah, it's really very Joker inspired. Was that an influence for you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Joker and Dexter were our major influences for that.
Yeah. How long did you guys take to make this from beginning to end? Do you have a sense?
It was 7 to 8 hours. So yeah.
But like over 3 days, we spent like 3 hours each day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say editing definitely took the longest though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, there was definitely some moments in it that had a lot of tension, particularly the knife scene up to his neck, and it's kind of foreshadowed with the razor in the opening scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension in that. Really, really scary. Nice performance, Caden. A couple good, strong performances in our festival.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
You too.
Maddie Dennison with Space Things, another so we had two animations, Boogie Bar being, the stop motion. And then Maddie, you have the only animation in the group. It's really strong. It's really, the animation is so fun to watch, but the story is also really cool. It kind of works on both levels. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you made this?
First of all, thank you. And,
Yeah, you're welcome.
Back in December, I started learning 3D animation because beforehand, I was doing stop motion for years. And so I started using Blender. And after, creating some donuts and rendering some cups, I decided that I should make my first full 3D short film.
Uh-huh.
I wrote a script about, I just want to tell a story about an astronaut camping with some aliens. That was about it, really.
Just typical story.
Yeah, I whipped up the scripts in a few days, really. I didn't want to make it too deep, pretty lighthearted, And then I had a friend of mine, Logan, voice actor.
Yeah.
I did a great job. I thought it was perfect. I wanted like a calm feeling, just a relaxing mood in the film, and I thought you fit that perfectly.
Yeah, Logan's been in our program, as you probably know.
Oh yeah. And my little brother Jack, he voice acted in it as well.
Uh-huh.
Did a great job, and overall, it's just a fun project to make.
It really is. The style of the animation, it just has its own style. It's just really a strong piece. I really also like the sound editing that you did on it. The audio cuts and all, obviously animation, there's no audio, so everything, you have to create everything in there, which is a lot of work. You want to talk a little bit about that? Was that something that you had done a lot of before also with stop motion work, or was this more elaborate from a sound point of view?
Yeah, with stop motion, I practiced a lot with sound effects because, animating, you don't have any sound. You're just putting pictures together.
Yeah.
And you're making video. So over, a few years of creating stop motion videos in ArtQuest, I think I got a good hold on knowing what should make sounds. And sometimes I purposely left out sound effects where you think there should be a sound, because sometimes it felt a little distracting. And again, I was trying to go for a relaxing mood. But once you make a lot of animations and once you kind of get a hold of things, you kind of get to learn. You start to pay a lot more attention to what makes sound and how it should sound like. And it's pretty fun. It's just downloading a lot of MP3 files from YouTube.
Yeah. Is the music original?
The music is from Matthew Wilder. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean by that.
I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar. I wasn't sure if you had created that song, or that's a pop song.
Yeah, it's
okay.
Older song. I think it was made sometime in the 1980s.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I wasn't familiar. Well, great job, Maddie. It's a really, really strong animation piece. I know it takes a lot of time. Any sense of how long that took you to make from beginning to end?
Oh, wow. I think I started it like in January, and I finished it on March 13th, which was the deadline for submission.
Worked right up until the day, huh?
Pressure was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a long time. And there were so many frames. For the majority of the frames, I had hand stitch them together in Premiere, and I had to put them together. Yeah, it took a long time.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the next one. As you know, we have a strong animation program at the JC if you're interested in going into that further. Nice work on that.
Thank you.
Last but not least, out for delivery. Hey, James. And Alex is there as well. Alex is the woman behind the mask, I think, in the film.
Yeah, and behind the camera for a good 70% of it, 75.
Yeah, I think that's the reality for a lot of the films in the festival because of the nature of the COVID kind of productions. People are double dipping and acting and tech and camera. So talk to us about your film. Your film has the most interesting concept, I think, of all. When I read the script, I was just like, whoa, this is so original and interesting. there's so many of our films are about COVID because we're all living it. But you just took it from a total right angle. Can you talk about where this came from and like?
Yeah, totally. So I like to deal in like older art styles a lot of the time, and a lot of the time I end up consuming that art as well.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just something about the aesthetic of like stuff that we don't use anymore, or typically see in film. And particularly I was most inspired by film noir and silent cinema here, because film noir is very thoroughly inspired by World War II. You don't have this anxious, neurotic, like antisocial vibe in film noir if you don't have people returning from World War II. And similarly, but not as intensely, silent film, German silent film particularly, has a World War I tinge to it. Old Cabin of Dr. Caligari, stuff like that. So of course, COVID is not World War III. But I wanted to kind of call back to similar levels of economic turmoil. I also, at some point, the main character mentions losing a house in 2008, which is again kind of trying to tie it back to just a film about American. I don't know. It's not necessarily hardship. I guess is just kind of like noir is brutal. You watch it, main character usually dies. Bad stuff's usually happening. So that's basically where I was pulling it from, was those two genres most particularly. Not really genres, more of styles.
Yeah, I mean, I love that hardship about it. Like, and it kind of goes into the the way that you narrating it, and the woman who's chasing you, and you're kind of like playing a hardball about it, but then you can't afford your medication, and then you can't work, and it kind of cascades. It's really clever the way that you kind of put it all together.
And that was really taken particularly from one film noir that I took a lot of inspiration from, which is Detour, also in the public domain. Really one of my favorite movies. I took the name of the main character, Al Roberts, from Detour, and also just the kind of general energy. There's a line towards the end of the movie where he says something about how wherever you turn in life, fate sticks out a foot to trip you. And I kind of wanted to bring that energy of noir into a modern context, and that's why the movie doesn't take place in the 1940s. We have a modern radio. Everything is today. It takes place in the present day, but the style kind of pulls it backwards in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when you pitched this story, you were very specific about all of it right from the beginning, in terms of black and white, the 4:3, the voiceover, which is really great credit to you that you had such a strong vision early on. That's really good.
Thank you. Yeah, I again,
it's a common theme.
I love 4:3. I'm really glad to see that like A24 and other movie studios are really going heavy on 4:3 in the last few years. It's really made a comeback as a standard aspect ratio, which I didn't foresee coming.
And black and white movies.
Yeah, black and white movies. Yeah,
more black and white movies.
More black and white movies, and more black and white cuts of movies. Parasite did this, which was the last movie we saw in the theater before pandemic. So maybe maybe Parasite, black and white, kind of seeped into the movie too, in a way.
Interesting. Yeah, great work on it. It came out really, really well.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think now we are at the moment that we've all been waiting for, the announcement of our films that are going to be moving forward. As Mike Trainer was talking about at the beginning of the festival, we are partnered up with, Adrian's going to put this in the chat for us, but the Film Fest Petaluma is going to be going on this year for 10 days because it's part of the Alexander Valley Film Festival. We're kind of partnering with them. So rather than one day of shorts on the first Saturday of May, the way we normally do, we're doing 10 days virtually. The student films will be, I guess, competing in this kind of pop-up drive-in that I think is happening in the Healdsburg Community Center, which is just like, I can't wait to go to this and see how it all works. I don't know why there's not more drive-ins on the West Coast. We have them on the East Coast and they're just so cool. And now because of COVID, like we should have some in our county. So it's really cool that they're going to be putting one up. My understanding is there's cash prizes. I think Mike said there's like 3,000 competing for $3,000 of cash prizes, which is really wonderful. So we're able to advance 4 films, and based on the 2 screening committees that viewed it, the 4 films moving forward are Out for Delivery by James Demizio. Congratulations, James. Out for Delivery is moving forward. Where's my applause sound effects? My goodness. Excuse me. There you go, James. This is low tech production. Film number 2 that's advancing is Maddie Dennison's Space Things. All right, nice work, Maddie. Moving forward, going to be playing your animation in the drive-in. How cool is that? Third film moving forward, the other animation in our lineup, Krista Andrews' Boogie Bar. Can't wait to see that on the big screen. And film number 4, Max B. Love's Summertime. Summertime moving forward as well. Nice job, Max. Great job to all of you. I can't believe how late it is already. We've been at this for a couple hours here. I think we're ready to wrap up. I see that filmmakers have been fielding questions in the chat. I don't know if there's any others that we want to move forward and mention before we wrap up here. It seems from what I see, most people have answered their questions. So unless anyone has anything else they want to say, I think we can wrap up here. It was another unusual festival. I'm glad we were able to still make it work. Another shout out to Student Services for helping us put this together. For the Psychological Service for being on standby. Like I was saying, just regarding William Marsh, we're going to put the memorial information out on our Facebook page for those who want to participate in that. And Film Fest Petaluma coming up in a few weeks. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you, at least virtually, and maybe somewhat in person at the drive-in portion on May the 2nd. So I think that's it for us. Walter, if you want to cue our closing promo, thanks everybody. And we will see you again next year, if not before. Thank you all.
SRJC Film Program to me is a good opportunity to make more films to add to my portfolio.
Surrounded by people just as interested in filmmaking as you are.
You really get down to the nitty-gritty and just like making films.
The digital media program at SRJC is designed for students who are looking to possibly transfer to a 4-year film school, students who are studying for a digital media certificate, or for people who are just looking to take a class in a particular subject. So you can take classes in single camera fiction production, you can take it in single camera nonfiction production, and you can also take class in multi-camera studio production, which is where we're at right now. A lot of the classes are project-based learning, so after studying the theory of how something works, the student then goes try to apply that as it pertains to a particular project, usually of their own writing, in the field. Students are very active in their own productions. Several of our classes interact with classes in other disciplines. That kind of interaction not only yields a better product, but it also helps to form creative relationships, and that ultimately is what a film school is good for. And I feel like in the few years that I've been here, I've seen the film community here grow and be really active, which is something exciting to watch. I feel like students are not just taking a class, but many of them are really part of a filmmaking community. And that ultimately is what a film school is good for. And I feel like we deliver that here.